So, live once again. Good evening, everybody. Well, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk once again. I'm Mobile Geezer. If this is your first time here, glad to have you. Please subscribe and share. And glad to see anybody that's here. And I need to pull this up here so I can see who's here. Okay. Here, so the only one I've seen so far is Eleanor, and she has to work tomorrow, so I know she's going to be leaving early. Don't know if anybody else is here. If you're there, please type something in the chat so I'll know you're there. If you're new here, please let me know where you're watching from. As always, every week, I'm broadcasting live on both YouTube and Facebook. On Facebook, you can go to Mobile Geezer or you can go to George Hayes. It's simulcast on all three at the same time. And don't see anybody in the chat at all, so I don't really know who is watching. But let's see if I can show you where the show notes are. I'm going to share my screen. And if you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, click on the very first story, which has today's date. You can follow along in the show notes. So let's stop the screen here. Put this back. Okay. So I don't see anybody else here, but hopefully you'll all be joining in. I can't see who's watching from Facebook as far as I know. But of course, you can send me a comment from there too. Just type it in and let me know you're there and watching. I've sent out invitations to the usual suspects, to Mike and Ted and Will and Mark. So don't know if any of them will come in, but one or more of them usually come in if they have the time. So I guess I'm going to get started with this week's stories. So let me share screen here. So as you can see from my webpage, Shenzhen lockdown, a real blow to smartphone manufacturers. And this was on fortune.com. So we'll go there. And the Shenzhen lockdown will affect everything from cars to iPhones. It's going to be really bad. And that's by Andrew Marquardt. So let's put on reader view. So if we can get rid of some of these ads. Okay. Okay, and this is from a few days ago. And you probably have heard about this because there's a lot of stories about it. But Shenzhen, a Chinese city and major tech hub, was placed on total lockdown Sunday after an outbreak of COVID cases. The lockdown is scheduled to last a week, while health authorities administer COVID tests to the city's 17.5 million residents and try to limit the virus's spread. But apart from affecting the people of Shenzhen, who are dealing with more COVID cases and lost wages, supply chain experts say the impact of the lockdown will devastate global imports and exports of crucial goods for the foreseeable future. Just keep in mind, they're shut down for a week, but it's going to affect the rest of us much longer than that. Whether it's iPhones, cars, or electronics, locking down Shenzhen and the subsequent effect on the Yantian port, the fourth largest in the world, will cause shipping delays across a wide range of products and continue to harm supply chains that have experienced issues since the pandemic began. It's going to be really bad, Daniel Stanton, a professor of marketing at Bradley University and the author of Supply Chain Management for Dummies, told Fortune. When we're talking about goods coming out of China, it's not just the finished products we buy directly, but it's also a lot of parts that are crucial to manufacturing other things that we buy too. Here are some of the products that could be impacted by the Shenzhen shutdown: iPhones and other Apple products. On Monday, one of Apple's top iPhone manufacturers, Foxconn, closed operations at two of its largest manufacturing sites in Shenzhen following the city's lockdown. I've got a story coming up on that. In a statement to Fortune, the company said it was awaiting advice from the local government before determining when its factories will reopen. The company added that it adjusted its production line to minimize the potential impact, but experts say there is little the company can do to avoid any disruptions to iPhone manufacturing and shipments. That'll disappoint a lot of people. iPhone shipments will definitely see delays, Stan said. In situations like this, companies need to collaborate to find workarounds and come up with the best solutions to their supply chain issues despite the crummy environment. Okay, across all sectors for electronics. Shenzhen is the heart of electronics manufacturing in China. Tech giants Tencent and Huawei Technologies are both based there. For a manufacturer to make a product the right way, they need all of the components that the product is comprised of. So even if just one of those components doesn't show up because of the lockdown, then it shuts down the supply chain for the whole product, Stanton said. That's what could happen in Shenzhen. Yo, Will's here. Glad to see you, Will. Glad you're here. If you have time, you can come anytime you want. You've got the link. So I'm just on the first story about Shenzhen shutting down manufacturing for a week, or locking down for a week. So I gather it's going to affect a lot of us a whole lot. This applies to phones, computers, semiconductor chips, tablets, headphones, and many other electronic devices that are reliant on Chinese manufacturing. The delays from Shenzhen shutdown are the latest in the 2+ year pandemic that has put constant strain on global supply chains. Companies will need to come up with alternative strategies to try to make up for problems caused by the supply chain issues, but those strategies might be exhausted by this point. When things don't go according to plan, companies fall back on alternative options and pull on those fallback levers, Stanton said. The challenge that we're facing now is for over 2 years, we've been pulling on all of those levers constantly and affecting cars. Shenzhen's lockdown has the potential to halt exports of car components that could subsequently fracture the whole manufacturing process. I gather Ford last week decided to ship out some of its trucks without some of the usual electronic components because of this. For so many products these days, components come from all over the world, like components that go into automobiles, Stanton said. Chinese electronic vehicle and battery cell maker BYD is reportedly experiencing production issues at its Shenzhen factory as a result of lockdowns, according to Bloomberg. In January, when the Chinese city of Tianjin was placed on semi-lockdown, Toyota and Volkswagen factories within the city suspended operations, causing delays. And last week, when the Chinese province of Jilin was shut down, both companies had to again suspend operations at several plants within the province. Car manufacturing is one of the most vulnerable industries to supply chain issues caused by lockdowns because car components are quite time sensitive and of high value. Bo Zhang, an economist at Loomis Sales, an investment management firm, told Fortune at the time. The critical Yantian port, the Yantian International Container Terminal, which processes, get this, roughly 90% of China's electronic shipments, remained open Monday, according to Bloomberg. But even if it continues operating, factory shutdowns in the city will limit the port's ability to process shipments, the Wall Street Journal reported. And it's still possible that the port will close as a result of the lockdown. So I don't know if it closed during this week or not. When the Yantian port was closed after a COVID outbreak last June, it caused a shipping backlog that took months to recover. On Monday, a spokesperson from the shipping giant Maersk told Fortune the company was still in the process of figuring out the impact of the city closing down. Because of the lockdown, trucks holding manufacturing goods or components are unable to enter the city, which could further produce delays. No cargo will be able to load in Yantian from next week, and vessels most likely will omit the port. Seiko Logistics, a supply chain firm, wrote in note Sunday night. Trucks from outside Shenzhen are unable to enter the city. Consumers should expect delays in electronics that are produced from Shenzhen-based factories or that depend on the Yantian port to export, according to Stanton. Even if Shenzhen is locked down for just 1 week, the impacts could be widespread. We live in an age where one of the ships that pulls into these ports can hold 20,000 containers, Stanton said. So when you talk about potentially closing down the port as a whole, that's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of containers filled with goods that factories and distribution centers around the world are waiting for. Shutting it down even for a week is tremendous. So I gather we're going to see more delays with electronic goods. Jimmy Scott Green. Eleanor said hi to Will. And I'm glad Will stopped in. And Eleanor and Will, you're the only two that have put anything in the comments. So I'm not sure if anybody else is watching, but I will continue on. So I started with that because that lockdown, even for a week in Shenzhen, is going to affect a lot of us, especially us techies. So I followed up with the Foxconn story next. So let me share my screen there. And on my page, I just said Foxconn halting operations due to Shenzhen lockdown. This is on CNN. So, okay, CNN Business. Apple supplier Foxconn halts operations in Shenzhen as China locks down tech hub. That's by Laura He and Eric Chung. Let's go to review. Okay. Foxconn, one of Apple's biggest suppliers, has suspended operations in Shenzhen as China locks down the technology hub in several other regions to contain the country's worst COVID-19 outbreak in 2 years. The world's second largest economy is still doggedly pursuing its zero COVID strategy, even as other nations reopen and try to live with the virus. Yeah, I don't think anybody can hit a zero COVID, so I don't think that's possible, but they're still trying. Most people, like they said, have learned to live with it. The lockdowns in major Chinese cities will impact not just the country's post-pandemic recovery, but could deliver a new blow to global supply chains. The southern city of Shenzhen, which borders Hong Kong, is home to Chinese tech giants like Tencent and Huawei. It imposed a week-long lockdown starting Monday after recording 66 positive cases Saturday. Seems like a very small number to lock down the whole place for, but what do I know? In its statement provided to CNN Business on Monday, Foxconn said that the date of factory resumption is to be advised by the local government. So everybody's waiting for local government to tell them when they can open up again. Foxconn has two major campuses in Shenzhen. The Taiwanese company has adjusted its production line to other sites to minimize the potential impact from the disruption it added. It didn't elaborate on which locations would take on extra work. Shares in Taipei's Foxconn Interconnect Technology, a subsidiary of Foxconn, plunged 9.8% in Hong Kong on Monday. China is grappling with its worst COVID outbreak since the original outbreak in Wuhan in early 2020 as cases surged across the country. On Sunday, it reported 2,125 local COVID-19 cases across 58 cities. Still seems like a small number to me, according to the National Health Commission. In Shenzhen, all businesses, apart from those deemed essential or engaged in supplying Hong Kong, have suspended operation or have implemented work-from-home policies. Public transportation, including subways and buses, have been suspended in the city, which has a population of 17.5 million. Shenzhen is also home to one of the world's largest container ports, and any disruption there could hit an already stressed-out global supply chain. Last summer, the Yantian port in Shenzhen was forced to shut down for nearly a week after infections were found among dock workers, causing a massive backlog of goods that took months to clear and a spike in global freight rates. So far, the port continues to operate. Shares of major companies based in Shenzhen fared poorly in Hong Kong on Monday. Tencent sank 9.8%. Telecoms firm ZTE lost 7%. BYD, China's largest electronic car manufacturer, fell 8.3%. And AAC Technologies, an audio components maker, plunged 9%. Apart from Shenzhen, local authorities have also locked down the northeastern industrial hub of Chongqing since Friday, where 9 million residents were forbidden from leaving their neighborhoods. Shanghai, the country's largest business center, has imposed stringent measures after a spike in COVID cases, closing schools and cinemas and restricting travel into the city. These lockdowns come just months after China shut the northwestern city of Yan, I guess, which hit major business operations, including those of Samsung and Micron, two of the world's biggest chip makers. These stringent measures taken to control the pandemic have hit China's economy hard in recent times. Earlier this month, the government set an economic growth target at around 5.5% for 2022, the lowest official goal in decades. So I guess if you're shooting for a zero policy with the virus, then I guess this is what you have to do. Most countries are no longer shooting for that. So, and Eleanor said, back at you, Will. So let me continue on down. Okay. And we all know about the Samsung throttling issue that they got in so much trouble for. Let me share screen. So on my webpage, I said Korean FTC investigating Samsung throttling scandal. This is on Sam Mobile. So, Korea FTC to investigate Samsung's game optimization service, GOS scandal. And I reported on that last week, and people were very upset. And I gather there's a suit about the hit Samsung also. But when the FTC starts investigating you know it's got to be pretty serious. Well, Samsung knows how to keep itself in the headlines for good and bad reasons. While the popularity of the Galaxy S22 series is keeping them shining on the internet, there is this GOS or game optimization service scandal, revealing that Samsung made false promises while advertising their Galaxy S22 series phones. In a recent report by the Korea Herald, a complaint has been filed by infuriated customers of the Galaxy S22 series to the FTC, claiming that Samsung violated the advertisement law during the promotion of the Galaxy S22 flagships. Notably, the company used the term best performance ever when talking about the performance of the Galaxy S22 series. Yeah, you're not going to have the best performance when you're throttling phones on purpose. But in reality, it turns out that these are false claims by Samsung. To further investigate the matter, South Korea's antitrust watchdog, the FTC, will be looking into this matter. Some consumers found that the GOS software runs for other resource-intensive apps as well. So it's not just games that it's throttling for. It's also other things. I think they're addressing it, and I think we're supposed to get an update very soon that will give us some control over it. In the official press release, Samsung announced that the Galaxy S22 series comes with a 120 Hz refresh rate display. This would allow for a smoother transition and overall better usability. However, when tested by gamers, it was found that when playing games, 120 Hz isn't provided. The reason behind it is that Samsung forcefully runs an app in the background called Game Optimization Service, GOS. This service basically optimizes the performance of the phone when playing games for a better battery life and to avoid overheating problems. Worse, this GOS software cannot be manually turned off. I think they're going to address that and give us the ability to do just that. Now, Geekbench performed a test and found some shocking results. According to Geekbench, the Samsung Galaxy S22 series only offers 53.9 of the promised performance when GOS runs in the background, so it's cutting it in half. Users are angry over the fact, well, it's more than cutting it in half. Users are angry over the fact that Samsung hid such crucial information about the actual performance numbers of the Galaxy S22 series. Although Samsung Electronics has stated that it will include a performance mode in the GOS app, yes, that's what we're expecting, and it still refuses to accept that GOS is enabled for other apps and games. So they're saying it's only affecting games. Well, obviously that's not true. So we'll see what this FTC investigation, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up locking up people over it because Samsung is huge in Korea. So I'm going to stop screen. Okay, don't see anybody else in the comments yet. So I will continue on. Just take a quick sip. Yes, I'm drinking on the job. Okay. Yeah, this one happened just yesterday. Oh, there's one. Hey, Juan, good to have you in here, brother. Yeah, he's saying they'll pay a fine. No one's going to prison. Well, I remember what, a couple of years ago, they had locked up a few Samsung big shots, but I guess that's probably over. And I agree with you. That's more than likely they'll pay a fine. I would think they'd pay a pretty hefty fine, but what do I know? And Juan, you're always much more knowledgeable on this stuff than I am. Okay. This one is from yesterday. And Mr. Bezos is taking over once again. I just said Amazon bringing MGM into the fold. The EU has already approved this move. And this is on The Verge. Yeah, I found it funny that the European Union has approved it and the Americans have not as yet. We'll see. Anyway, MGM is now a part of Amazon. Amazon's monumental entertainment deal is happening. So let's go into read review and get rid of some of these ads. Okay, it's by Emma Roth and Richard Lawler. Amazon's purchase of MGM for $8.45 billion is complete. without a public response from the FTC on whether or not it will challenge the deal. That's very strange. But I gather there's a law that gives a certain time frame, and sometimes the FTC can't get their investigations done in that time frame. You'll see that further down. Reports have suggested for months. Oh, wait, I want to see what one says. The Samsung here went to prison was for stock manipulation. And yeah, that's true. He was paying off a lot of people. Let's see what else. Governments don't care if end users are impacted. They threw people in jail when rich people are. Well, that's probably true everywhere. Okay. Reports have suggested for months that the FTC was considering a challenge to this deal with Amazon and MGM. And the Wall Street Journal noted earlier this month that Amazon certified it had given the FTC all necessary information, setting a mid-month deadline that would close the deal, which was yesterday, with or without a response from the agency and its new leader, Linda Khan. After initially declining to comment on the deal's closure, the FTC did send a statement to The Verge. The FTC's Office of Public Affairs Director, Linda Kryzak, says the FTC does not comment on any particular matters. However, we reiterate that the Commission does not approve transactions and may challenge the deal at any time if it determines that it violates the law. Additionally, this summer, the FTC announced that it will send pre-consumption warning letters in connection with deals it cannot fully investigate within the times established by the SHR Act. So I guess they can't always get it done in the time they're supposed to. These letters alert merging parties that their transactions remain under investigation and warn that consummation occurs at their own risk. Well, they came to consummation yesterday, but the FTC did not comment on whether or not Amazon has received such a letter. So they may still be investigating it, they may not, who knows. Earlier this week, the European Union's Antitrust Commission gave Amazon's purchase the green light, noting the transaction would raise no competitive concerns as the overlaps between both companies are limited. Amazon seems to have taken that as approval enough and has closed the deal nearly a year after both companies first signed off on it. I was surprised that the EU approved it, but because they're usually going after companies the size of Amazon, but good for them, I guess. Amazon's landmark acquisition of the entertainment giant behind James Bond, Rocky, The Addams Family, The Handmaid's Tale, and a host of other iconic shows and movies should help bolster Amazon's existing Prime Video library. Yeah, I guess I'll have more stuff to watch soon. Amazon's Senior Vice President Mike Hopkins said in a statement that we welcome MGM employees, creators, and talent to Prime Video and Amazon Studios, and we look forward to working together to create even more opportunities to deliver quality storytelling to our customers. And I personally think Amazon Studios produces great new work. I have loved some of their series and a few of their movies. The addition of MGM's massive collection, not to mention the possibility for more originals, their originals are awesome, I think, may help Amazon's streaming service get an edge on Netflix, HBO Max, and Disney's family of services. As it stands, Prime subscribers pay a newly increased fee of $130 a year fee to gain access to over 26,000 movies and 2,700 series available on Prime Video, along with other perks like free 2-day shipping on any purchases from the site. This news comes as other media behemoths are looking to shake things up in the streaming industry. Last year, AT&T announced that it's merging with Warner Media with Discovery in a move that encompasses shows from major networks, including HBO, CNN, Cartoon Network, HGTV, TLC, Food Network, and more. The merger just got approved by the U.S. government in February and HBO Max and Discovery Plus will be combined into one app as a result. So it seems that the FTC doesn't always stand in the way of these, but we'll see if Mr. Bezos gets his way on this one. So far, so good, I guess. So, anything else in the comments? No. Okay. All right, down to the next story. So I guess most people know that Samsung had its event yesterday for its A series of phones. And this story focuses on the one that is specifically being released in the US. So I thought I should pull that story in. And this was on CNET. So let's go to read review. Okay, Galaxy A53 5G at $450. It looks like a mid-range powerhouse, and that's by David Lum. Samsung unveiled the Galaxy A53 5G on Thursday at the company's Galaxy A event. Yeah, I just sold my A52 from last year to Don in Oklahoma, and he loves it. Priced at $450, the device is the latest in Samsung's mid-range A50 series of phones. The A50 phones tend to have the looks of the higher-end Galaxy S devices paired with a lower price and decent camera specs and battery life. And Juan, if you're still watching, I heard what you said in your video about Samsung, so I know you're a little jaded. Delivering incremental improvements on last year's Samsung Galaxy A52 5G, that's the one I just sold. The A53 5G has a new Exynos 1280 chipset. That's surprising. In America, they don't usually use the Exynos chips. Software tweaks for better display visibility and a few camera and photo editing perks. Renz is in here. Hey, Renz. I'm sure you must be at work. Glad to have you as always, brother. Okay. The A53 starting price is also $50 cheaper than what last year's A52 cost at launch, with the A53 5G coming in a single configuration of 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage, expandable up to 1 terabyte with a micro SD card. And that's the one that's being released in America. Now we'll go on to, I guess this next one is in other countries. The A53 5G will also have an 8 gigabyte 256 gigabyte configuration according to Samsung, but it won't be released in the US. Samsung hasn't announced how much that version will cost. T-Mobile and Verizon customers can buy it on March 31st, and everyone else can get it in April from AT&T. So I guess it's those three providers. Unlocked at Samsung.com and from retail, so other places too. I'm sure Best Buy and Amazon will probably have it then. You can pre-order the phone today, and we'll get a pair of Samsung Galaxy Buds Live wireless earbuds for reserving the phone early. Yeah, I just received my Buds Live because Samsung was so late with everything a week after I got the S22 Plus, but I haven't even opened the box yet. I'll be doing that this weekend. Let's see what one says. A series going to sell a bunch, but Xiaomi and BBK have a big opportunity internationally to chip away at these. Yeah, that's true. Losing the headphone jack and charger is a bummer. Yeah, that's very true. A53 5G has a few improvements, but for a lower price. Though little has changed from the A52, the phone still has an appealing list of features for its lower $450 starting price. It has a large 6.5-inch AMOLED display with a refresh rate of up to 120 hertz. Not bad for $450. 64-megapixel main rear camera plus ultra-wide and macro cameras, a 32-megapixel front-facing camera, a 5,000 milliamp battery, and 25-watt fast charging. The phone also comes with a photo editing tool called Object Eraser, which lets you take unwanted items out of your images, much like Google's Pixel 6's Magic Eraser. Yeah, well, that's on all the Samsung phones. I have that on my Z Flip 3, my S21 Ultra, my S22 Plus. So I think pretty much all the Samsung phones are getting that feature. The Galaxy A53 5G will launch with the latest Android 12 software, and Samsung has guaranteed 4 years of One UI and operating system upgrades. That means it should get updates through Android 16 in 2025 and 5 years of security updates, so just like the 22 series. So that's the biggie for the A series for the United States. But I gather just yesterday, the A73, I think, just came out, but I haven't gotten to any articles on that yet. So, I'm going to go down. This is going to be a short night for me, folks, because nobody else is coming in, and I'm getting through the stories quick. Okay. Next up. Okay, share screen. So, Google is buying another company. What a surprise. Google acquires security firm Mandiant, and this is on Computer World. So, Google buys cybersecurity company Mandiant for $5.4 billion. The two companies are set to deliver an end-to-end security operations suite and advisory services for customers. Let's go to read a view. And this story has been out for over a week, but I didn't have time to get to it last week, but I just thought I should include it. And this is by Charlotte Truman. The two companies are set to we just said that, yeah. In a move to offer an end-to-end security operations suite from its cloud platform, Google has announced it will acquire cyber defense and response company Mandiant for $5.4 billion, and the deal expected to close later this year. And I see Brian is in here. What's up, Brian? And I see Mark is in here. Yo, Mark, well, you've got the link for whenever you feel like coming in, if you have it. He's headed numb now. If you can head out, I'll hop on as soon as I can. Yeah, I'm running out of stories fast, Mark, so be quick. Don't get any speeding tickets, though. So Brian's saying hello. All right. The acquisition will complement Google Cloud's existing security services, and together, the companies will deliver a security operations suite as well as advisory services that help customers address critical security challenges and stay protected at every stage of the security lifecycle, Mandiant said in a press release. The company recently announced a new ransomware defense validation service for its SaaS-based XDR platform, Mandiant Advantage, to help enterprises gauge the ability of their security systems to guard against ransomware. I guess that's good. This is an opportunity to deliver an end-to-end security operations suite and extend one of the best consulting organizations in the world, said Google Cloud CEO Thomas Kurian in the press release. Mandiant gained significant recognition 2020 after discovering the infamous SolarWinds hack. Also, they're the ones who discovered it. Orchestrated by a Russian group who were able to break into the networks of SolarWinds and covertly alter the code in one of its IT management software update packages. This resulted in, okay, I'm not the only one that makes mistakes. This resulted in backdoor malware being pushed out to thousands of companies that relied on SolarWinds management products. And as a result, both private enterprise and government networks were targeted for further network intrusions. That's true. That was a big deal. Cybersecurity is a mission, and we believe it's one of the most important of our generation. I would agree. Google Cloud shares our mission-driven culture to bring security to every organization, said Mandiant CEO Kevin Mandia in the release. Together, we will deliver our expertise and intelligence at scale via the Mandiant Advantage SaaS platform as part of the Google Cloud Security portfolio. Yesterday, The Information reported that Google was in talks with Mandiant about a possible deal to bolster Google Cloud Computing arm. However, it was thought that Microsoft was also interested in the potential buyout of the consulting company. Well, I guess Google won that one. So hopefully Google security gets better. Let me stop screen. Brian, as always, thank you so very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Okay, nothing else new in the comments. Hopefully Mark will get home before I'm done and we can just do some chatting. He's always interesting to talk to. Okay, next up, Nokia. Or Nokia. Nokia devices will be mid-range in budget for the foreseeable future. And this is on Android Authority. HMD admits that it has given up on Nokia flagships for now, and that's a good thing. More budget phones, a solid foundation, and a profitable business. That's the focus here. This was a good article, I thought. I think they're making sense. Last week's tech news cycle, this is a week old too. Last week's tech news cycle was filled with announcements from various companies doing MWC 2022. But Europe's most famous mobile brand, Nokia, was barely on anyone's lips at Europe's biggest mobile convention. HMD Global, the current maker of Nokia phones, did introduce some new devices, but they were all very, very low-end smartphones. Nothing that can hold a candle to the likes of the Honor Magic 4 Pro and Realme GT2 Pro. This obviously made us question whether HMD has all but given up on Nokia flagships, and we were able to get a clear, or as clear as it can get, answer from the company. Let's see what... Nokia 9 broke my heart. They need to focus their core on entry level. Yeah, I still have my Nokia 9 PureView, and I love to get rid of it. I kind of love that phone. And of course, it's very unique. A chat with Adam Ferguson, HMD's head of product marketing global, told us in no uncertain terms, making an $800 phone doesn't make sense for us at the moment. This is an outright admission from HMD that it's no longer interested in chasing the flagship crowd, a suspicion we've had for a long time. And one, I remember you and TK last week was saying how we don't all have to spend so much money on the phone, and you were both bringing up more mid-range budget phones that were good phones. So I guess Nokia agrees with you, or HMD agrees with you. And I just lost my screen. Give me a minute, folks. I get this weird thing that happens every once in a while. Okay. Let's see if I can bring that. Okay, came back. That happens every once in a while. I have no idea why. Okay. As a matter of fact, Adam added that HMD doesn't want to get involved in a massive spec war with other players and would rather stand for something different. Very smart, I think. What's Juan saying? Yep, the vast majority of Android sales are around $300. That's the sweet spot for daily driver international sales. Good to know. And I know you and TK are both always saying that you can find good phones for that kind of money. Okay, here's their why HMD stopped making flagships. Here's their chart So this is their smartphones. This is their feature phones, and up top is the total. And you can see going back to Q3, quarter three 17, then they went through 18, and they came way down. And I think 17, the Nokia 9 was even before that, I think. So they came way down, and at their lowest at quarter two in 2020. Then they did a little up, a little down, and it looks like they're slowly coming back up. Together, the quarter four of last year was their best quarter in a while. And I think that's where they're trying to settle things with budget and mid-range phones. In its first few years on the mobile scene, HMD Global tried to do everything. That's very true. Hit every price point, conquer the feature phone segment, innovate on the high end, maintain fast updates, differentiate by offering a clean Android One experience. That's right, they concentrate on that. And expand across global markets, all with the resources of a small startup and while trying to revive a dead name that carries a lot of nostalgia, that's for sure, and even more baggage. In retrospect, we can all agree that it bit off more than it could chew, and a lot of it came crumbling down around the release of the Nokia 9 PureView in 2019. I love that phone. Looking at HMD's unit shipments and vague financial announcements, it's clear that the company got a substantial hit in 2019, and we saw that on the chart, that carried over to the first half of 2020. The pandemic didn't help, but things started picking up slowly. Shipments grew, finances became healthier, and HMD has been profitable for 6 quarters. Good for them, i.e. since quarter 3, 2020. That's a point of pride that Adam was happy to reiterate. Thanks to its change in strategy, HMD has been profitable for 6, and the company's entire shipment numbers, including feature phones, is slowly recovering from its massive drop in 2020. Behind this rise in profitability is a change in strategy that many of us have been critical of for the last few years. Looking from the outside, it seemed that HMD had basically thrown in the towel and was on its way out, which it turns out is far from the truth. Good. It's true that HMD stopped pursuing the high-end market, scaled back on its device launches, especially the upper mid-range, skipped or delayed some updates, slowly faded away from the news cycle, and overall did everything that we, the geek crowd who were champing at the bit for Nokia's comeback, didn't want it to do. All in a series of compromises that left many fans disappointed by Nokia. Me too. I was disappointed. But it's also difficult to denounce that strategy now, knowing how well it worked from a business perspective. Good for them. Their critique, 5 years on, HMD's handling of Nokia is a tale of squandered potential. Yeah, that's probably true. Strategy centered around the budget market. Right now, HMD, this was their booth at MWC. Right now, HMD tells us it's focused on building good feature phones and good entry-level and mid-range smartphones. It wants to make hardware that lasts several years with multi-day battery life at an affordable price point. Very sensible. It also aims to be a leader in the U.S. prepaid smartphone market by the end of 2022. In laying this foundation, it hopes to earn its spurs and then expand in a way that supports the core business, according to Adam. The spec wars and the fight to cram as many features in a barely profitable smartphone appear to be off the table for now. Sounds like very sensible to me. And if you ask me, that's the right thing to do. Obviously, he thinks so too. In all honesty, I started preparing for this article from the perspective of a scorned ex-Nokia fan. For those of you who don't know, Nokia was the hallmark of my early mobile tech writing career in 2007 to 2010, and I have feelings about it. That's honesty, I like that. I was ready to flame HMD for its lack of substantial MWC announcement. Its tiny show floor booth, yeah, looked pretty small. Seriously, it was the size of a living room, and all the wrong decisions I thought it was making. But after taking a step back from these charged emotions and looking at the company's performance and strategy in the last 2 years, I can't but agree that most of it makes sense. Starting from scratch with healthier foundations is better than stubbornly continuing down a losing path. Yep, that's true. Letting the Nokia brand revival fizzle out is better than letting it die entirely, a second death. And starting from nearly scratch with healthier foundations is better than stubbornly continue down a losing path. I still think that many avoidable mistakes were made on the way. The botched update and buggy software situation could have been better handled, for one, and the company could have been more transparent about its shortcomings and change in strategy. That's true. There's also the more recent matter of the HMD patent ban in Europe. I didn't know about that. And the unclear current direction taken with without Android One. Yeah, because they were pushing Android One for a while. A lot of good faith accrued in 2017, 2018 has been wasted because of these missteps and many more. What's next for HMD and Nokia? Adam says they still have more to do, and that's an understatement. At its peak, HMD was the 8th largest smartphone maker in the world. It's now down to the 11th position. I think they're lucky to be there. Back then, it was also part of the weekly conversation on every mobile and Android website. That's true. We used to talk about them a lot. Updates, releases, news, there were interesting things for us to cover and for you to read. Now, Android Authority didn't even deem the new C21 and C21 Plus worthy of a standalone announcement article. We just mentioned them, and there goes my screen again. Give me a sec, folks. Sorry about that. It's coming back, I think. Okay. We just mentioned them in our MWC roundup. It's tough to see the brand that made a Nokia N95 and E71 will be relegated to an also mentioned section where other stars are shining. So I think they're taking on a good strategy. And based on everything I've heard from Juan and TK, I think they're making the right move. So I thought that was a very well-written article, too. Okay. And I am down to my last story. So I'm going to share screen. And on my website, I said exclusive Galaxy S22 features coming to older Galaxy devices soon. So right now, features that we have just on the S22 series are going to be coming to others. And this was from Sam Mobile. Galaxy S22's amazing new features coming to older Galaxy devices with the UI 4.1 update. So let's go to read review. Okay. Samsung debuted One UI 4.1 with the Galaxy S22 and Galaxy Tab S8 series. The newer version of One UI brings a lot of features to the table, including Google Duo live sharing. Yeah, there's a video I'll show you. Improved image editing and easier file sharing. Today, the company announced that most of those features will be released to older Galaxy devices, a part of the One UI 4.1 update. The One UI 4.1 update will first roll out to the Galaxy Z Flip 3. Good, I have that right here. The Galaxy Z Fold 3. Later, the new update will release to the Galaxy S10, Galaxy Note 10, Galaxy S20, Galaxy Note 20, Galaxy Z Fold, and Galaxy Z Flip series. I'm thinking the S21 Ultra, which I also have right here, already has it. Samsung said that One UI 4.1 includes the Google Duo live sharing feature. It allows users to share their phone and tablet screen with their friends over a Google Duo call. And let's see, there's a video. It just has music, so there's no talking. I'm thinking if I take it off reader view, maybe I can play it. It's just a very short thing. Let's take it off reader view and see if that video shows up. Yeah, there it is. So you don't need sound because it's nothing but music, but it's pretty cool, I think. Okay, so you've got the two ladies on a duo call. So I think this is a pretty cool feature. I got to try it because I had the 22. So you can actually share your screen with the person you're on the duo call with. So I think that's pretty cool. Just wanted to let you guys see that. All right, back to reader view to get rid of some of these ads. Okay. Oh, and now, of course, it shows up. Okay. Users can view photos in the gallery, view photos in the gallery, browse the web, and collaborate Samsung Notes together. Okay. They can even watch YouTube videos or plan a trip using Google Maps together. I think that's very cool. The Expert RAW camera app, which offers complete manual control over cameras and features multi-frame noise reduction, was first released to the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which I have right here. Now that app is being released to the Galaxy S22 and Galaxy S22 Plus, which I also have right here. It will also be released to the Z Fold 3 in April 22, the Galaxy S20 Ultra, Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and the Galaxy Z Fold 2 later this year. That's good. The app offers the ability to shoot images in DNG format. That video wasn't as clear as the other one, in my opinion. The Object Eraser plugin for the Samsung Gallery app allows users to remove unwanted objects, shadows, and reflections from an image after it's captured. Yeah, I use it every once in a while. These new features will be released to more Galaxy smartphones and tablets with the One UI 4.1 update. Well, I already have it on the S21 Ultra and on the Z Flip 3. So I guess the evolution will be the Note 20 and that kind of stuff. I think that's great. So with the upcoming update, a Galaxy device can automatically notify you if an image you are sharing with your family or friends has a potential issue and will offer you to crop out unwanted things or adjust the tilt. That's cool. An updated version of QuickShare, Samsung's own file sharing service, allows users to share multiple images, videos, and files simultaneously. With the One UI 4.1, Samsung is also introducing Grammarly-powered typo and Grammarly correction to Samsung Keyboard. It will also offer advanced suggestions such as sentence formation clarity, finding synonyms to reduce repetition, and more fluent writing. Well, since I use Gboard all the time, I probably won't be saying that. The One UI 4.1 update will be released to various Galaxy A, Galaxy M, Galaxy F, Galaxy Tab, and Galaxy X cover devices as listed in the image below. Let's go see the image below, I guess. Don't see the image below. But anyway, I think that's pretty cool that they're bringing it to so many other phones. So I've gone through all my stories in an hour, not bad when I'm by myself. And of course, as usual, I'm just going to show you glowing rectangles. Oh, I guess Mark is coming in, so I'll hold off for a second here. Good timing, Mark. I just went through my last story. So I'm just waiting for him to come in. Mark is always interesting. He's insightful. He likes to pick on old folks, so be prepared. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm just stalling, folks. And now you'll have an old guy and a young guy. And even though I'm in Tennessee, I'm from Jersey, so you'll have an East Coast guy and a California guy. And of course, we already had one in here anyway, so that'll make two California guys somewhere in the stream. And here he is.
All right. I don't even have my lights on. I hear you in the background that you're telling everyone that I mean to our elderly.
Hey, I said you were insightful and you like to pick on old folks. That's all.
I heard that, but I also heard everything else. How are you, George?
Okay. Anyway, Juan is in here, so there's more knowledge than you and I put together.
Yeah, that's some gadget guy is pretty smart for being just a regular degular, right?
Exactly. Oh, I said California. Juan is saying no, West Coast. Okay, sorry, Juan.
That includes at least two more states if I remember my geography.
That's true.
Oregon and Washington, right? And then
that's true. Yep.
Does Alaska count, Juan?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I guess technically Alaska is on the West Coast.
It's almost
just on the West Coast of Canada, though.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I think that disqualifies them.
Yeah, I would think. So I was about to bring up glowing rectangles because I've gotten through all my stories, but talk to me. You're the one who's always interesting and fun anyway. So there's some pressure for you.
The pressure for you, I heard that you're just now you're feeling that itch to showcase Mr. Juan Bagnell's what would you call it, brainchild, his page, right? Glowing rectangles was.
Oh yeah. Should I pull it up now?
However, yeah, we can talk over it. You can tell you do the George Hayes mobile geezer spiel.
Well, I don't like to finish the show without showing it because it is where people can get some other exposure.
Yeah,
right, I'm sharing screen now.
But as far as me, part of me still on the freeway on my way here. So
yeah, I'm sure. I'm just glad you got in here. So, folks, for anybody who doesn't know, glowing rectangles was started by Juan Bagnell, who's here in the comments, and some gadget guy, and he wanted to see more people get more exposure, especially some of us smaller YouTubers and bloggers too. You can put articles in here too. And so he actually created this. And let me get rid of my branding over here. Let's take this away. So if you go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, that's where you'll find it. You see the name right here. A place to talk about all the best toys. Yeah, and I guess Juan designed all of this. And if you hit top, you will see. Now, anybody can post here, any video or any blog you want. But if you hit top, you'll see what article for today got the most upvotes.
As long as it's good, right? They can post anything they want as long as
I guess as long as it's not something dirty, which I would disapprove of probably way more than one would. You know me. Apple trying to be budget. C-Dubs Media. I don't know C-Dub Media. C-Dub by 4 hours ago. So anyway, that got the most votes. He put a video up there. Go ahead.
If I had to guess, just off of that title, that headline, it would be something similar
Something
to what I tweeted. It's the what is it, the $30 price jump for the SE. What is it, 3 now? I guess, right? The
let's
new SE.
let's
It's
take a quick look,
it's a
because I'm thinking
premium.
something different. I'm thinking something let's click on it for a second.
I'm saying it's the premium budget phone, right?
iPhone SE Gen. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, there it is.
You're right. There you go.
For a question there, with the premium budget phone now $30 more expensive, which
Yeah,
is less.
exactly.
It's
And I don't think it's worth it, personally.
that's less than 10%, right? Because 10% would be $40, and I think it's a
Right.
$30 on the dot, so that's 8 or 9%.
Well, you're the Apple guy. Do you think it's worth it?
I mean, the thing that we have to keep in mind, like obviously, being avid members of the tech community, we are sort of excluded with what almost any company does. Most of them, they're making phones for everyone else that doesn't
that's
buy
true.
everything
That's
and
true.
everything every chance they get, whether we have money or not. So
That's true.
for
That's
example,
true.
let's say I mean, because I love to try to have the latest iPhone, and when I can't, I'll leapfrog one and then get the other year, or skip skip
That's
a
what
year.
I did this year. I leapfrogged the 13.
There are people who are every year. There are people who are every other year. There are people who are every other year. And I think that, for example, if you've been grabbing the SE2 since it's the original, which was a
Right.
really, that was one of my favorite stylists, because I liked that blocky box design of the
Right. Yeah, a
5.
lot of people did.
Yeah, that was really neat because the first time that was such a radical idea. It was, I had that phone, like that was the the tip top premium, and it's not even that old, and they're giving it new guts.
Right. Right.
It was unheard of at the time, and so that for people who maybe did a little research, or someone maybe talked them into getting it, they've been
Right.
waiting around 2, almost 3 years until the last one came out, and then the next one came out. And
Right.
I think
and Mike I think has the SE2.
yeah, and it's good now that they're able to say, like, say if they were holding out, wondering like, oh, I know I'm not paying premium prices, though it's still
Right.
technically a premium brand.
Yeah, and
Now
that technically, I realize, is the point. But other people are saying, and my Project 13 said it today, and I agree. If you're better off buying the iPhone 11 than buying the SE3, I think. I totally agree with that, because I had the SE 11. The iPhone. That's why the one I traded in for my 12. But that was a great phone, and I think you're better off spending that money on an 11.
Or even people that were speculating, hey, they might move up to the 10R. Even still today, if you could find a refurbed one, a 10R would be also a good choice.
I thought the 10R was a great phone too, because I had that one before I had the 11. And Juan said C-Dubs is a good dude out of Australia. Cool.
Yeah, and again, another thing, most people use a phone just for a phone. They may buy something, a high end like Galaxy or Pixel or Apple, but they're mid or entry level phones, but they still stick with that brand because, like, well, I know these companies, right? So they're still that they're comfortable with that.
But when you say they use it just for a phone, I find even my coworkers who are old like me, they use it for a phone, and they do take a lot of pictures. So pictures is still a big
that's
deal.
the only thing that matters to a lot of people. Yeah, and I was surprised to hear that they did end up, which is a good thing, giving people access to, even if it's limited, 5G, because I know it's not the full.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Which would have nuked their battery, but I believe, recalling the event, I think they said same great battery, and most people only want it to last them a day, and not a full day, but rather
that is very true.
A full work day. So you're talking 6, 7, 8 hours, no problem.
Yeah,
like, sure, that's all they care about.
I would think most people would want it the workday plus the evening. I'm not positive.
I mean, you would imagine you're not using your phone for 8 hours consistently every day, right?
Well, that's true. That's true.
I mean, I am. My screen time is a big number. Mine's double digits.
My screen time is only big numbers the 3 days a week I go to work, because I'm constantly pulling out my phone. I put in my earbuds, and when I'm riding, when other drivers are picking me up and I can ride, I'm listening with my earbuds and watching videos. But I use it more when I'm working than when I'm not working.
Yeah, I have every device on for however long I can have it, but that's just me. All the time.
Well, yeah,
I like feeling
And I always have two devices with me, so I can pull out one or watch something on one while I'm checking email on the other or whatever.
Yeah, have like
like you say, we're techie freaks that just can't get enough, and I know that.
Yeah, the more screens, the better. I mean, I'll have even just whatever's on, or like if I mean, recently with what's happening in the world, I like to have a couple news. I mean, I shy away from the news, but sometimes that's one of the only places to get.
I never go to news sites ever.
Not news sites,
ever.
no, TV, television.
I never watched TV news either. I stopped reading papers, close to 50 years ago now.
I think they stopped making them 50 years ago.
Ooh, you see what I mean, folks? You see, he likes to take his shots at the old. That's okay. Beat up on the old folks. That's what we're here for.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah. I'm surprised that. Yeah, I guess that's a way to follow the news. I just got so I can't stand TV news.
I think
it's more, and I don't care whether it's CNN or Fox. To me, they're all the same.
They are the same, and more so, it's for those images because not just pictures and stills, but like video, because a lot of times they have people on the ground, so I'm able to see some stuff that we would never otherwise see.
Except that who is telling the truth? You never know.
No one is. You know why?
Exactly.
It's not illegal to lie.
Yeah, and even the pictures and videos that they show us. Well, this is from so and so and so and so.
Yeah, and even
they've been Ukraine, except they slipped in one from 4 or 5 years ago, and they're telling us it's going. It's like, tell the truth, but trying to get these people to tell the truth is impossible. So
until we repass the law that we repealed in, what was it, 85, 86?
But they're not going to do that until we get some honest politicians, and I wouldn't hold my breath until that happens.
I don't think they make those anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That went by way of the newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. Very good, Mark. Good point. Very good point.
I mean, it's the second that they did that and allowed themselves to be blanketed loosely by entertainment, and I don't know if fear mongering is entertaining. Again, they're using all of these every which loophole and loose definition that they can. But
I remember when they passed that law, and I kept saying, why the heck are they making lying okay? And I never did settle it in my mind, because it'll never be okay in my head. That's just me. Look at Renz is busy at work, but he still has time to give me a donation. Renz, thank you as always. Very, very much appreciated.
Renzi, yeah, it's crazy, and I forget where I had first heard about it. I was reminded of it again recently, but maybe 5-6 years ago, where I hadn't realized that there was an actual later one that there was a law in place that used to keep them at least honest or fair and balanced and truthful news coverage, and then they went by they did away with that and went by way of entertainment and opinion, and basically that covers everything, exactly. And you don't have to mean what you say or say what you mean or any of that. And
thank you very much, sir. Very much appreciated as always.
It's ridiculous. It's
ridiculous, and
I think it would be even
could get in my head why you would allow that. But I assume
it's obvious.
I assume the
for the views, for the clicks, for the ratings, for
but I mean the guys. But it was Congress that passed it, but I assume that the guys paying them off in the back room, and they can get whatever they want.
Of course. And same thing with how most of that. I mean, I know most of us can agree more or less where, for lack of a better word, corruption is, and everything in between. Honesty, corruption, everything in between. But how would you even approach that? How can, if at all, that system be dismantled? I don't know.
You'd have to have a number of honest politicians, and I'm not saying we don't have a few. But will there ever be enough to get anything passed? I don't think so.
Say we had enough. That I mean, because I would figure that they're gatekeeping. Like, why else, right? Because then you have to. there's so many hoops you got to jump through, and you get X amount of these guys' votes and those guys' votes and these gals and over there and that committee or whatever.
Exactly.
It's a huge mess.
Well, keep in mind, Congress is run by lawyers, for the most part. So,
yeah, lawyers and people that
I
were
mean, the
alive.
vast majority of people who are politicians are lawyers too, for the most part. So,
Yeah.
anyway, let's change the subject. I get upset. Anyway, back to going rectangle. So you saw the top story that was voted. You hit the up arrow to get an up vote. You can down. I don't know anybody who downvotes, but
probably downers.
Second thing you see here is always an ad, and then so the second story, Samsung's best ever, painfully honest tech, and he's got the same amount of votes as the top story. So those two are tied at the moment. And a lot of people are already saying best ever and phone of the year. And people I respect, but I'm like, how can you pick phone of the year in March? That's what I keep thinking.
Or phone of the year, when do they do it? When I think, I mean, because most of the top three, at least, don't they release within 3 months of each other?
Well, not Apple and Samsung.
Well, what was it last year? It was
Apple comes out in September, and Samsung
in October.
Yeah, well, in October is Google, but then Samsung is like February.
I forget who it was. You know that joke, and I'm reminded of when I was in school, and then you kind of mess up when you after the holidays and you write the previous year's date because you've been writing that date for 12 months, right? Yeah. And you're like, oh shoot, it's 22, right? And a lot of people, they'll forget that even though winter break is only a week and a half, 2 weeks, you're like, hey, see you next year. And like, what are you talking about? Like, we're only taking 2 weeks. Because the year changed.
I'm somewhat of a stickler. I used to make that mistake in the new year, writing last year's date when I was young. I haven't done that in years. That's one thing that's gotten better as I've gotten older. But I'll tell you what a stickler I am. Apple's event last week. What day? What date was the date? It was March 8th. And I kept hearing people for weeks before saying, well, Apple's spring event. And I kept saying, spring is 2 weeks from March 8th.
Yeah,
how can it be a spring event?
Because people only consider, what is it? Basically December as winter, December, January.
Well, I was going to say January and February, the two coldest months of the year. So
except for the heat wave that we had. Remember the Super Bowl heat wave? You don't remember that? Hottest Super Bowl of recent memory.
Was it?
Damn near, yeah.
Well, I was in Los Angeles, though, right?
It was 4. Yeah, well, I mean, California too. We hit that heat wave. Didn't spare us.
Oh, I didn't realize it was all the way up there. Too.
Yeah.
So it went all the way up the West Coast.
In the middle of winter, no less. Is my point. Like four scorching hot days back to back.
Okay.
Relative
to here in Chattanooga, we'll get some 70s even in January and that. But like last week we had it was 78 one day. The next day, the high was in the 30s. So you never know. But we're only about 2.5 hours from Florida, so it makes sense that ours would be that changeable.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Weather's another thing too. That's why I try to focus on tech at least for the most part is more predictable.
Yeah, whether you want to talk about it or not. Okay.
Yeah. But so then was that your only gripe with the Apple event? You only dislike that?
Yeah, I thought the event was good. As a matter of fact, before I started broadcasting, good luck. I was watching MKBHD's review of the new one,
the Mac,
the giant Mac Mini.
Yeah, there you go. The Mac Mini XL, no, the Big Mac, right? The Big Mac Mini.
Yeah, and I would buy that one if I had the money, but I would not buy the $2,000 one. I would want the $3,000 one.
$4,000.
I want the M1 Ultra.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. I mean, even I was reminded of Financing. There's a host of options. I forget who I was tweeting about it.
But
Someone
see,
had mentioned
I don't finance anything. If I can't buy it with my own
it's an
money,
option.
I'm not buying it.
It's an option. I mean, that's
And
one way
a lot of people will. Maybe most people will. I
to
just don't
lessen
like.
the. Yeah,
I
I
don't
get
like
it.
to add another monthly fee.
I get it.
To anything.
Even right, but the best ones out there are the ones that are little to nothing up front. I mean, for example, my favorite one is probably my Best Buy credit card, right? Because that one you'll get an option of getting like an instant, $10-$20 certificate, whatever.
Yeah, I get them all the time in email.
No, I'm saying with every purchase at the terminal, you get to pick one, and then you can say,
okay, gotcha.
0% for 12 months at least. And I mean, like, who the heck, who's going to say no to borrowing money for free? Right.
I always say no because if you're going to
Even
give
if
me
it's
another $10 that I got to pay a month, I'm not going for that. That's just me though.
Well, so you'd rather, if you did have the money, then you're saying that you would drop $4,000 plus tax.
Absolutely.
Right on the table.
If I had a credit card that was clear enough, I would do that too. But I'm not dropping $4,000.
But the credit card, for the most part, is not going to lend you money for free.
Yeah, that's true.
My Best Buy credit card would. I mean,
see, it's a psychological thing in my head.
Things. Yeah, unless you have there are a lot of I think who does it? Citi, I think, or wait, yeah, they do the Best Buy one too. I think Citibank does a lot of 12, 18, and even 24-month balance transfer and intro APRs. 0%, nothing. Yeah, and I don't believe.
But you're right. It's smarter to do it at Best Buy when you get the offer there.
Yeah, I mean, even I think
you're
sometimes
not paying anything for it.
I think they still have like a Mastercard or Visa card version of. They have the store one and they have like the one above it that you can use.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so they might even consider you for that. Or
I have that one as a matter of fact.
I like it. I like them.
Anyway,
what about the display?
Oh, I would buy both. I have to say, at the event, I was probably more impressed by the display. This display just blew me away. I was like, "Wow, that is something."
Yeah,
and
gorgeous.
I could see myself quicker paying $1,600 for that than I could see myself laying out $4,000 for the other.
Yeah, and you're able to use it with anything you have on hand, right? That's
right.
The other.
But right now, I'm sitting at my laptop, which I have 3 screens right here. Okay. Now my Surface Pro 8 is sitting on the other table, which I have hooked up as a computer right now. Well, I've got 2 screens over there. I can't justify buying another display. It wouldn't make sense. And I have a fairly small room here.
Oh, come on!
This is my office room.
I don't believe you. I believe in you more than that. Come on, George. Don't tell me.
No, I won't be buying the display. If I had lots of room I probably would think about it. But yeah, it's beautiful, it's stunning, it's awesome. But no, I won't be getting it. But if I had, let's say I made $300,000 a year, I'd be buying both of those things.
Yeah, no question about it. You would just have to, wait in line unless you ordered it right away, or unless you're willing to drive, because I know they do often set aside stock for same day spontaneous purchase.
But Samsung ordering Samsung phones has taught me to wait in line. I had to wait 4 weeks for my phone, and I got the free earbuds for ordering with them. Well, they showed up a week after the phone.
It's because you remember those long lines that they used to have pre-pandemic at Apple stores and other well, for basically everything. Anytime there was going to be some sort of a release,
that's true.
I mentioned the iPhone drops because we're talking tech, but that sort of went away as more and more people started realizing they could do it online and the convenience thereof, and throw in a global pandemic, and now everyone's doing everything online.
It was slow. The lines were getting not as long before the pandemic, but the pandemic kind of killed it. Yeah.
Right, now there's curbside. There's there's actually parking now when I go to most strip malls and stuff. Like, you just go right in, double park. Exactly. I mean, I allegedly double parked earlier. I hadn't really realized because I just was using the car that was next to me to go, and then I was in the big Suburban, so I could, just came in at the angle and parked, and I was
You
like,
drive a Suburban?
I didn't realize. Well, yeah, it's the family one where whoever calls shotgun first gets to use it. Whenever
as soon as I heard that, my singer musician's mind went, "Oh, Mr. Big Stuff, who do you think you are?"
Right, yeah. So people get out of the way for sure when you get
Suburbans will make you move.
You can see all the way around. But and then I didn't realize that I double parked because otherwise I don't like to do it. Right, I was just a little more in a rush because I forgot my freaking wallet. And sometimes I remembered, I was like, wait. When I was applying for some jobs, I'm like, oh, they make you take a picture of your ID and upload it because everything, again, all digital. So some places that's good enough. Some places they need to physically scan the car. So unless you have sometimes taking a picture of the back of your ID, if you're gonna do that, then at least offer it because sometimes that's good enough, right? Because they just need the information on top and then scan the other side. And
you'll be proud of me. I used Apple Pay for the very first time 2 days ago.
Oh, snap.
Because there you go. Because I've always used Google Pay. And I finally said the other night, 3 nights ago, I said, I should probably just go ahead and set up my card on Apple Pay. So I did. So I went to the store 2 days ago and I said, does this take Apple Pay? He said, sure. So I did it. So I said, okay, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, nice.
So now I use both.
It's like I remember the first time that I did it, or two different times. The first time that I saw that it was starting to get rolled out, I think in this instance was a Whole Foods, where because I would have
make sense. Whole Foods.
Well, I would make sense at a Best Buy or Target or the tech.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like in the tech section of a superstore or whatever. And so when I was like, like gross, I would have never have thought like Samsung Pay, Google Pay, Apple Pay at I forget which one it was specifically, but I was like, wow, like I didn't know that my check with your bank.
It's exciting when you first see. You know who had it the most around here and always gets the latest one first? Walgreens.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Walmart because they're a big.
No, I always see it in Walgreens first, followed by McDonald's.
Do you think it's because of the prescriptions and all that? Because they do have the pharmacy in there, so I would imagine
that's probably it. But around here, that's always the first place I see. First place I saw Google Pay, first place I saw Apple Pay, and they had Apple Pay first. Then right behind it came Google Pay, then Samsung Pay.
I think because they want to streamline healthcare. I mean, that's a version.
That
that's
makes sense.
To make it easier,
more convenient. Yeah,
there it is, right? And so it would make sense that it would trickle down from that or trickle over from that. Not to mention the adult industry because they also funnel a lot of money and R&D into how they can use technology and this and that and the other thing. But
you know me, Mr. Pruitt, I'm against the whole adult.
No, I know.
That's just me.
I try to ignore them too. I mean, but I mean, even still, like that's where a lot of the imagine like startups that can't get funding otherwise because maybe for that reason.
Oh yeah,
have a moral objection, and then it's like, well, they have promising technology. They've already how can we get?
I didn't realize they were usually up front with the near the beginning with the technology.
And I think it was. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on it. But when I was first made aware of that was, I believe, Silicon Valley, if I'm not mistaken, the show, HBO's show about techie people and startups.
I've heard of it, but I don't have HBO.
Yeah, it's loosely based on actual companies. Sometimes they'll reference real ones. They'll reference Uber and Lyft and what have you.
Sure,
which is kind of cool. Sometimes when I'm watching it, I'll recognize like a street corner or a freeway exit or something. I'm like, hey, wait, I know where that is. Okay. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, but speaking of, did you see all the this season's what's his name from Star Wars?
There's 2 of them, right? There's the Mandalorian.
There's the Mandalorian, and that's the thing. Yeah, Boba Fett. The last 2 basically starred the Mandalorian, which I loved. I like Boba Fett, but I like the Mandalorian a whole lot better.
I started watching it. I forget what episode I left off on because it was a while. It was when the X and I were watching it, and then just life happens and
Are,
stuff. So I was like,
are
oh,
you like me and most people? Do you like the Mandalorian better of the two?
I've only been. The reason I was saying this, I think I'm on like episode 4 or 5 of Mandalorian first season. So
Oh,
I think
okay, okay.
I'm barely where he picks up, the
Yeah,
little
I
Yoda
binged
looking
all of
guy.
the man. I started. Let's see. I picked got Disney Plus last September or so, and so did. I binged all of the Mandalorian.
You didn't pace yourself.
No, no. But
You didn't
with
want
Boba Fett, I kind of waited.
to. Is that what? So, is everything out now for Boba Fett's the book of
Yeah,
book of
they
Man
finished
or whatever they
season
call it?
two. It ended with the Mandalorian stuff, so I guess we'll wait another season now.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta. Thanks for reminding me. I totally forgot about some. I forget that Star Wars is more than just movies now.
Yeah.
They have
See,
their
old
series.
folks are good for something. I reminded the young guy about something that he forgot. There you go. See?
Yeah, and that thing they say is true about losing your head if it wasn't attached to you like that. I get that.
Exactly. My mother used to say that to me when I was a
It's true.
kid.
It's true.
Well,
I
I
mean,
would well I would get busy with my kids' stuff, and then of course her stuff became totally unimportant in my head. So of course I forgot about it. you know.
you old people do have a purpose after all. You're right. I'll agree with you there.
Thank you very
A
much.
purpose.
Thank you. We've all been waiting for it.
They say you'll wish that you like the goal is to grow old, right? In most cases. And
Exactly.
I wonder if the same will hold true. I don't know if you remember, childhood and then the transition from childhood to young adulthood and then to adulthood.
Right.
When you're young, all you want to do is grow up, and then when you're grown up, you're like, man, I wish I could be a kid again, or I should have took my time, right? So
Well, to
I wonder
me,
how
I wanted to be older. When I hit 23, that went away completely.
you were where you wanted to be. You were like, okay, this is
Well,
eight,
I
or
didn't want to hurry it up anymore because
okay.
as a kid you want to hurry it up.
So the
And then
dream that you had of wanting to be an older person that can do this and that and the other thing, so
to
your
be the
dream was
adult.
shattered at the tender age of 23 is what you're telling me.
It
That's what you
wasn't
gave up.
shattered. I just
You gave up.
realized that I wasn't a kid anymore. So I don't know. But
So like,
you have to understand. I am very, very, very different than most people because most people, especially my age, well, how did it go by so fast? I
not paying attention.
never, I never feel that way.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
as you get older, things go by faster. And I always say, not for me. And I
Yeah.
always get the
I,
weird look, but that never happens for me. Never has.
that phenomenon, I blame two reasons. One, you weren't paying attention, and
Okay.
two, which could based off that is hopefully because you're having a good time, because time flies when you're having
And
fun.
that's
That's the
part of
first.
it.
But
Even
otherwise,
like
if you were
okay,
just kind of numb to it, or if you were never really present, you step back, take a few moments to yourself, and weeks have gone by. So
well, see, I think you're right about the good time because before I got saved, which of course from that time forward, in feeling like you're blessed every day, well, of course you're happy, or I'm happy. But even before that, for years before that, I kept realizing what a great life I had. I kept realizing, since I was in my 30s, I would, if I thought about while I'm having it bad, I thought about what the rest of the world was like, and I shut my mouth, because we're so far ahead of everybody, and I've always appreciated my life, and I've always had a good time for the most part. So yeah, I think you're right about that.
I think we're able. I mean, that what I was just going to say is that you're able to. There's both sides of that, because you're able to realize, like, well, so there's so many people doing worse than me. On the flip side, there are way many people doing better than you, and I think that that can hold true basically anywhere. I mean, you figure with
Yeah, well, that's true, but it all
middle,
depends on how you look at it. I
of
have
course,
always looked at the people doing better than me. I just kind of admire
that-
them for where they get, and I'm happy for them. I've never been the jealousy type. I've never envied anybody
right.
because I'm happy with my life. But when people are very successful and make millions or whatever, I'm very happy for them if they work for it themselves. So envy is just not something I have to deal with. I haven't. since I was
And
very,
this was
very
when
young.
around the same time you said in your early to mid 20s when you started.
No,
realizing-
I haven't been envious at all since I was a teenager, easily, because I've always been the type that's been happy to watch people get ahead, especially if they work for it. I
Yeah.
admire that. I have always admired that.
And that should be a good I mean how do you say that? A good, like, not inspiration, but for what's that
It
word?
can be, if that's what you want. And the other thing about me, I've
Like a
never
good
been a
goal, I
money
guess.
guy. I've never been a guy who money is everything. Money to me is
It's cool.
okay. I have this pleasant life that I make enough money to go, do the things I want to do for the most part. No, I can't take a worldwide vacation, but I've always appreciated that. And I've never been a guy that, no, I need more money. Well, I've always said, I want more money. All I have to do is go to a job. Somebody will give me more money. I am very happy with that. That's how I look at things.
Yeah, I forget. One of my buddies, I had asked him. I was like, like you. He's like, man, I wish I had. I forget exactly what figure he had, but he's like, man, I wish I had X amount of dollars or this, that, this, and I said, I'm like, why? What for? You don't really care about it. You're only gonna. I know you're just gonna turn around and give it away, right? Like spend it on something to give something else. It's like,
Exactly.
you don't really care about the money. You care about what it could buy. And I think
Exactly.
by
Yeah,
understanding and
what it
having at
gets
least
for me. Hey,
value,
Ted is here in case you want to take a shot.
I figured I'd go easy on him.
No.
My good deed for the month, it's
Well,
charity.
you started out going easy on me, but you still got your shot in, so I don't see why you should let Ted off scot-free.
I think because if I don't, then Ted would never get off. Heyo.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
Ted?
He got
He's late too,
his
by the way.
shot in a sneaky way. Yes, I had 3 donations. I'm very happy. One was very
Yeah,
nice.
good job.
Just before
Nicely
he
done.
left. Anyway, I probably should be getting going.
Yeah, no problem. Again, thanks for letting me sneak in.
Okay, as always, I'm so happy when you come in. Your conversation, I think, is much more interesting to people than sitting here watching just me read the story. So always happy
I
that you
agree.
come in. Okay.
I agree with you.
Are you breaking your arm?
Oh, stop.
Anyway, thanks, Mark, as always.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. And until next time, yeah.
All
Take
right,
care,
have
everyone.
a blessed weekend and stay safe. All right, I'm going to end the broadcast.